Let me just start. Bismillah. سيدنا وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. إنما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. آمين. القلب يسعد السلام. To say my beloved honorable sisters, may Allah, and she welcomes all of you. May Allah open up for us the doors of the righteous, of those who are knowledgeable. We spoke in the previous lesson on the knowledge of fiqh tahawalat, and we have taken from the book the Sukra, the concise article, and we have spoken about the introduction to this knowledge, that if a human being, that if they are studying this knowledge, right, that what must they know of the of the principles in this knowledge. There we spoke about the beginning of the book, um, and we spoke about the foundations of this knowledge, and we spoke about Hadith Jibril, that is called Sunnah, right? That is the mother of, or the source of this Sunnah, right? And then we spoke about let me see now. Then we spoke about the verses in the Sharia that speak about this knowledge. Afwan. Mm. And then we spoke about the wazifa, the purpose, or the purpose of this knowledge, right? That it is it renews our lugha of da'wah ila Allah. That means how we call people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how and that is this knowledge, it is for siyana, it is for protection of our sawabit. Okay, bismillah. Right, so she's going through a summary of what we have taken so far. We went through, so basically the first lesson was the 10 principles of this knowledge. The second lesson was Hadith Jibril. And Hadith Jibril, we spoke about the muqaddimah, the introduction to this knowledge. We spoke about the source of this knowledge, which is Hadith Jibril, that is called Sunnah. And then we also spoke about the four we spoke about the four pillars of Islam. That means of the four pillars of this religion, which is Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. And so we spoke about it as well, right? So about Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and as well the signs of the hour. Okay. Mm. Mm. And then thereafter we took the we took the role of this fourth rukun of the religion, and the role of this fourth you say rukun rabi, and the fourth rukun of this religion, which is knowledge of the end of times, right? And then we took the role. What is the wazifa meaning the role? What is the role of this knowledge of the end of times, right? And there are two main roles, right, for the knowledge of the end of times. The first role is the first role is to renew the language of da'wah, and tajdid lughat da'wah, to renew the language of da'wah. And the other role, it is to Allahumma sayyidina Muhammad, right? The other role, it is to siyana thawabit, right? Or ilmu thawabit, right? So it is to protect the knowledge that is firm in Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. Now, and so after that, we have taken what is thawabit and what is mutaghayyirat. Right, so just a bit of revision. What is thawabit and what is mutaghayyirat? Right, so those of you who are, who are very new to this, and if I will pause here and there, and I will also I want to do this. I want to use this session as an opportunity to also revise. Okay, right. So I will take whatever she says. I will translate. Then I will also explain further, right? So we can take to this session, because her voice notes are 8 minutes and 9 minutes. So inshallah, we do have time, right? So I would take my time, right, to explain each part, right, that she is going through. Okay, so she's going through a revision of what we have taken so far, right? The first lessons was the 10 principles, right, around this knowledge at the end of times. So inshallah, today I will try and translate the 10 principles, put it all out, right, so that you all can see it in one poster. Okay, inshallah, today I will do it. Allahumma sayyidina Muhammad, right? And then she spoke about Hadith Jibril. Hadith Jibril is core. And Hadith Jibril is core in this knowledge at the end of time. So study, because it is basically the source, right, of this knowledge. In Hadith Jibril, you must know it. You must know Hadith Jibril and what happened in Hadith Jibril, where Sayyidina Jibril came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the form of a man that was very well, dressed in a very white in clothing, very black his hair, and he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam questions. And this happened towards the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It happened about 90 days before he passed away. Right. So from this information, we know that this hadith, right, it basically speaks about there is hadith. It is a summary of the mission of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a summary of this religion. Right. So Jibril asked Rasulullah about Islam, and he answered the 5 pillars. He asked about Iman, and he answered the 6 pillars. He asked about Ihsan, and he answered the 2 pillars of Ihsan, which is Muraqabah, right? And which is basically Muraqabah and Taqwa. Right? So basically, Ihsan has that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you see him, and Astaghfirullah as you see him. Sorry, my kittens. Okay, and then you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you see him, and if you do not see him, then know that he sees you. Right, so that is a rukun ihsan, 2 rukun ihsan, or 2 arkan of ihsan, the 2 pillars of ihsan. Right, the ihsan is the science of the inner science of Islam. Then there was a question whereby Sayyidina Jibril asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell me about the hour. Right, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the one being asked is not no more than the one asking. Right, and so Sayyidina Jibril, yeah, I paused the Arabic. Yeah, I paused it because I want to just explain. I'm going to use this session to go through clearly and also to revise. Okay, so I actually paused the recording. I will play when I play it, inshallah. Right now it's on pause. Okay. Hope you all know what's going on, okay? Tamam. Is my voice clear? Because there's a lot of construction going on in my house, outside my house right now. And but it's very noisy in my house right now. But if it's clear, alhamdulillah, the mic is working. It's noise cancelling this mic. Okay, tamam. My cat climbed to my head pula. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Mana kucing ni? Allah. Okay, tau. Ya Allah. Allah, Kitty. Okay, tau. Okay, bismillah. So Hadith Jibril, right? So then comes the question, Allah. Then comes the question from Sayyidina Jibril, are there signs? Tell me about its signs. The signs of the end of times. Tell me about the signs of the end of times. Right? And so Rasulullah said that a slave girl give birth to her, you will see a slave girl give birth to her master, and you will see the barefoot, destitute, naked shepherd vying or competing to build higher and higher buildings, right? And then Sayyidina Jibril left, right? And then after a while, Rasulullah asked Sayyidina Umar, who's the narrator of this hadith, he says, "Oh Umar, do you know who was the questioner?" And Sayyidina Umar said, "Allah and His Prophet know best," right? And Rasulullah said, "Indeed, it was Jibril. He came to you to teach you the methods of your religion." So from this hadith, we derive from the 4 different questions they find in this hadith that there are 4 pillars of Islam. Okay, there's a whole summary of Jihad Jibril. Okay, so I'm going to what Zamaram is saying bit by bit. She also last week she went through with us the wazifa. The wazifa meaning the role of this knowledge. And there are 2 roles of this knowledge. Memorize them. The first role is tajdeed lughatu fiqh da'wah. Right, to renew the language of the understanding of da'wah, right? And then the second wazifa, or the second role of this knowledge, it is siyanatu ulum thawabit, right? It is siyanatu ulum thawabit, meaning that it is to protect or to preserve the knowledge that is the knowledge of what is firm, and that would be the first 3: Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. So right now in the recording, she went into the last week she went into what is thawabit and what is mutaqayyirat. Right, so thawabit, right, would be what is firm. Right, so you have your principles of iman, the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, you have your pillars of iman, the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sifat of the prophets. Right, all of these things are unchanging till the end of time. Right, and then you have of thawabit, you have Islam. Right, so the 5 pillars of Islam. Yeah, what is tahara, what is salat, what is sawm, what is fasting, what is prayer, and what is umrah, what is hajj, what is zakat. And these things are firm to the end of time. They are unchanging. Right? And then you have ihsan. of what are, virtuous traits in a human being and what are blameworthy traits in human beings. And these things and these traits are unchanging till the end of time, right? And then you have the mutaqayyirats. The mutaqayyirats, basically will be, the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that speaks about end of time. And these hadiths are interpreted, right, from time to time. It means every zaman will have the interpretation of what these hadiths mean. Okay, and that was one of the questions last week. And how do you know if your interpretation is correct? And the answer was that in your zaman you will perceive, or you will see of the interpretation of the hadith, not you but the scholars. And the scholars of the zaman, they will interpret the hadith in respect to what is present in the zaman. That is why it's called mutaghayyirat, because it changes. It changes with respect to zaman. Okay. Now let me play. Okay, let me play. And so the next thing that we took was the knowledge of the arkan alam tisa. So hold on, I need to close my window. It's very noisy. I can't even hear Ustazah Mariam myself. The construction is very noisy. Sorry, there's actually a blacksmith outside my house, so it's very noisy. Uh, how fun. Okay, Bismillah. So Mariam Haider, so she was continuing. Right, so now she's speaking about the two pillars of the science of the end of times. Right, so from the first pillar of science of the end of times, right, she speaks about um so that the first pillar, which is basically when Rasulullah said, when Sayyidina Jibril said, tell me about his signs, um tell me about his signs, Rasulullah he said that you will see a slave girl give birth to a master. So from here, the interpretation of this sign is a principle that shows there will be a deficiency, a khalal, a deficiency and a facade, in the and a corruption, like in. Oh, you cannot hear me. Um, Now can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, tamam. I'm pausing and playing and pausing and playing Ustazah Mariam. Okay, so you don't hear Ustazah Mariam, that means I paused her. Okay, so I'm pausing and playing so that I get every point from her. Okay, tamam. Um, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, so the first principle, the first pillar that is mentioned in Hadith Jibril is that you see a slave girl give birth to her master, and from here, Habib Abu Bakr Adani, he extracted that this principle is based. This principle is right. That there will be a khalal, or what Sayyidina Muhammad, there will be a deficiency, right, in the system of knowledge and also belief. Right, there'll be deficiencies, right, in the system of knowledge and belief and i'tiqad. Then from the second pillar, which is that Rasulullah SAW said, that you will see the barefoot, naked, destitute shepherd competing to build higher and higher buildings, right? And so from here, what is extracted from here is the second pillar of the end of times, which is a deficiency, right, and a corruption, right, in the system of government and economy. Okay, are you all getting that? Right? And so and so that is what is the arkan of the signs of the end of times, or the pillars of the signs of end of times. Then the signs of the end of times itself is split into three, right? You have the minor signs that begin from the coming down of Nabi Adam alayhi salam all the way to the end of times, to the blowing of the horn, right? And you have the middle signs, which is from the sending of Rasulullah, means the Bi'atha, right? Him being a prophet, like all the way to the second Sufyan, all to the end of, or to the coming of the second Sufyani, upon the second Sufyani, before the Mahdi and the Dajjal, right? Then when the Mahdi and Dajjal manifest, and they were manifesting at the same time, Dajjal first and Mahdi first and Dajjal, then till the end, till the blowing in the horn. So now, right now, okay, so then we will then it is the third major sign, right, of how of the third major sign, right, of the major signs of the major signs will be from the coming of the Mahdi, right, and then Dajjal, and until the blowing of the horn. Okay, so there are three. So the signs at the end of times, right, they are compartmentalized into three. Right, the first one is, I'll repeat, the first one is the coming down of Nabi Adam alayhi salam, all the way till the blowing of the horn. There's the middle, there's the minor signs, right? All the minor signs will happen from the coming of Nabi Adam alayhi salam all the way to the blowing of the horn. It is within the middle and the major signs. The middle signs are a specific time period. They happen from the bi'atha, right, or the coming of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means his prophethood. It starts with his prophethood sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the way to the second Sufyani, to the death of second Sufyani, which will overlap with the coming of the Mahdi. Okay, that is the middle signs. And then the final signs, the major signs, is from the Mahdi all the way to the blowing in the blowing of the horn, and the entire matter. Then Ustada, she went into are you able to hear me? Allah. Right. Why do people keep saying they can't hear me? Okay. Okay. I get why do people keep saying they can't hear me? I don't know. Okay, Tom. I would Tom. Okay, so today's lesson is I'm taking it slowly. I'm taking it slowly because I want to ensure that you all are following the lessons, okay? Because today's like a revision. Okay. Right. So those who can't hear me, I don't know why you can't hear me. Right. So now so the signs of the end of times are split into three groups, right? The three groups are minor, middle, and major. Okay, minor, middle, and major. So minor signs, again I repeat, right, from the sending down of Nabi Adam alayhi salam from Jannah. So Nabi Adam alayhi salam sent from Jannah, I did the ihbat of Nabi Adam from Jannah till the blowing of the horn in that shows the end of this universe. Okay, so the middle signs, the minor signs happen throughout. Okay, the minor signs happen throughout. Okay, middle signs is from the bi'atha of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means the sending of Rasulullah sallallahu as a prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And then till the coming of the Sufyani. Okay, can you understand? Whoever said that they can't understand the difference in the three groups, Kulthum, can you understand? I'm making all of you understand. Okay, so the second sign is from where? From the bi'atha of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the way, right, to the coming of Sufyani. Okay, the coming of the Sufyani, the second Sufyani, and in fact the death of the second Sufyani, which will overlap with the coming of the Mahdi. Okay, and at this point begins the major signs. Okay, and so the major signs begin with the coming of the Mahdi, which will lead to the coming of the Dajjal. Mahdi will appear first, and then Dajjal, right? And then Nabi Isa, and then Nabi Isa will end the matter, right? And then it will end, right, with the nafkha fi sur, right, the blowing of the horn, right? There will be the end of times. Okay, right? So if you follow the classes, you will explain all of these things. Tamam. The Sufyani is there are two Sufyani 1 and Sufyani 2, right? And they're human beings, they're actual people, right? And they will have armies, and there's entire hadith around the Sufyanis and Huadi. But now it is premature for us to speak about them because we're still at the beginning of this knowledge. Okay, tamam. Let me just play this one. Right, so now Ustazah Mariam Haider, she is going to the definition of fiqh tahawulat. Now, right, so she's going to a different characterizations of the signs, so minor, middle, and major. Then now we're doing into the ta'rif of tahawulat. It is a knowledge, that is a knowledge that is in the Sharia. So Sharia knowledge of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm going to explain the entire ta'rif, okay? It is a knowledge, right? It's a Sharia knowledge, and it's a study in the religion that's necessary, right? And it speaks about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed, right? In his eternal knowledge of what will happen or has happened and will happen in the life of human beings, right? And what will come upon human beings, right? Or has come upon human beings, right? Of matters, right? That will change the course of human society, and specifically the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also that will cause changes, like in the cosmos, right? In larger scale, right, of Allah's creation, right? That will cause major changes in Allah's creation. Right? And so when you say ilm shari, the ilm of the Sharia, that means it's from Quran and Hadith. And so this entire knowledge, it comes from Quran and Hadith, strictly only from Quran and Hadith. Right? So from the beginning of time, the creation of the human being, the creation of Nabi Adam alayhi salam, right? Right, and things that will happen, in the history of human beings. Now, right, so in the different marahil, in the different phases in the lives of men, or in the phases in the society, in the different phases in society of men, uh, right. Mm. And that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us very clear signs, and directions or directives, right, from the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of how to get to, or how you get through the lives of, that human beings go through, right, successfully, inshallah. Right. So in fiqh tahawulat, there is a full study, of the life of the human being, the lives and the lives of men. If you've taken the book The Lives of Men by Imam al-Haddad, right, fiqh tahawulat has a similar study in there, right? Is within fiqh tahawulat, the lives of men, whereby you speak about the life of Ahmad, and then Hayatul Ahmad, or Alamul Ahmad, wa Alamul Abad, wa Alamul. So you have the first alam, right, which is the alam of before this world, right? The alam of the soul, and the soul before this world. Then you have the alam of the world itself, right, Ahmad, the alam of the world itself. And then you have Alamul Abad, right, which is the alam that is eternal, which includes the barzakh, right? And then what comes on the day of judgment, and then what comes after that. And this Sufic Tahawulat also studies this alam, but it specifically studies the alam of Amad, right? The alam of this dunya, right? Before the hereafter. Mhm. Right, so all of that was summary, okay? All of that was summary. Um, um, mm. Right. So inshallah today we're going to continue with our lessons, and we're going to focus on specific lessons that should be taken in a dawah in a short course with regards to fiqh tahawulat. And for us to benefit from these lessons, inshallah, right, and to get and this lessons will be keys to us to open up this knowledge of fiqh tahawulat. Mm, mm. Right, so from the specialties of fiqh tahawulat, that a person who's studying fiqh tahawulat, that you must study three traits, right? That you need to three traits, or meaning that you need to study three types of you will say And you study three types of Allahumma Sayyidina Muhammad of readings, three types of readings. So you have a reading that is istiqra'iyah. Istiqra'iyah is a reading that is that you read, events of Allah, and you read events of the past, right? And then you have istibaqiyah, right? Events that are yet to come, Allah. And then you read you have readings that are istidlaliyah. Istidlaliyah, these are readings that is from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. So this is the first one. So to recite that in the marhala of wahi, and the marhala of the wahi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam onto Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is called istidlaliyah. So you look at hadith and Quran that speak specifically about the 23 years whereby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, preached on this earth, and this marhala or this phase, it is called the marhala of istidlaliyah. Right, that means you take from it the dalil, you take from it dalil. Right, with dalil, hawadith, and so of the events that happened in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you pull out lessons from this 23 years whereby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived on this earth. Now, and then the second one is istiqra'iyah or istibaqiyah. Istibaqiyah will be hadith in Quran, ayat of the Quran that speak about the future. Where Rasulullah, he spoke about things that will happen in the future after his death, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that and the Quran also speaks about things that happens in the future. So istibaqiyah will be matters of the future that is still in this dunya. So not talking about the next world, but still in this dunya itself. That is called istibaqiyah, and that Rasul has informed us. So it's prophecies. You say it's prophecies, right? So reading prophecies, the prophecies of Rasul about things that will happen, in the future. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so it did not happen in his lifetime, but will happen after his lifetime, and it will happen before the end of time, before the last day. And so istiqra'iyah, right? The reading is istiqra'iyah. It is retrospective reading. Right, which is basically that you're reading the stories of those who came before. So from Nabi Adam alayhi salam, and then the beginning of good and evil with regards to Nabi Adam and Iblis and having a Qabil, and then thereafter every prophet, and their people, that is called istiqra'iyah. And it means you are reading things in retrospect. So how was the creation of our father Nabi Adam alayhi salam? How was the lives of the other prophets? What happened to them with regards to punishment, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so on. Right, so the nusus istidlaliyah, right, meaning that the text that is from the text that is specific to the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in fact specific to his prophethood, 23 years, 23 years of his prophethood, that is that, and this 23 years where the text is istidlaliyah, like it is to assist us to handle what will happen after the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the day of judgment. Right, so all of the solution and the principles laid out in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also, right, from the text that came before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the istiqra'iyah, the retrospect. Right, so text from the life of Rasulullah 23 years, and then text from before the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we speak about what matters that happened before the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi Adam, Nabi Nuh, and so on. Right, all these principles are extracted, right, for us to survive the last part that happened after the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the day of judgment. Okay. Mm. Right, so istibaqiyah is hadith or ayat that will speak about matters that will happen in the end of times, right, after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's from the death of Rasulullah till the blowing of the horn. No. Right. Right. So you understand the three different texts that we will study in Fiqh Tahawulat. So to repeat the three different texts, the first text is Istidlaliyah, and this will be the 23 years, specifically the 23 years of life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a prophet. So one time he was it was from the time of Bi'atha, whereby he was raised to be a prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the point he passed away. This is the marhala or the phase of istidlaliyah, whereby you take the dalil, the proofs, of the principles that is laid out, right, up to the end of times. Right, then istiqra'iyya, which is text that is text in retrospect. That means you're reading events that have happened, and these specific events is before the coming of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Nabi Adam alayhi salam's time, all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we must study this text. They speak about previous nations in the Quran, in the Hadith, right? Then there is a text of Muhammad, istibaqiyah. Istibaqiyah, then these are the texts whereby they speak about the future. And the future meaning from the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this will be all events that the Prophet told us about. So they are prophecies, right, that will happen after his death to the end of times. Now, right, so the specific thing about Split Howlet, they will study these 3 different types of text specifically in his time. Now, so after that, right, the next lesson, right, we go into the 5 knowledges of Iqtahawlat. And it's 5 knowledges of Iqtahawlat, they are of the fruits of Iqtahawlat. Right. Right. And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is derived from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also from the Quran, right? So the five knowledges, right? So Habib Abu Bakr al-Adani, he has compartmentalized all the hadiths in Quran into 5 different knowledges. So the first knowledge we're going to speak about today, which is nawaqid wa naqid wa mudad al-fitan wa and we're going to speak about the deficiencies as well in knowledge and i'tiqad, right? Knowledge and belief, and also hukm and iqtisad, and governance and economy. And we're going to see about how, and this will speak about this because the first knowledge goes right into so the first knowledge will go right into the nawaqid wa naqaid, right, which basically is let me just pause there. So today, this lesson, so all of this, you give a full overview again of what we're taking into Tahawulat. So I hope you all are following, slowly, inshallah. And those who have learned this from me earlier on, I hope you all are memorizing. Okay, if you've learned this before, I hope you are memorizing whatever we are laying out to you. Okay, knowledge is knowledge when it's memorized. Knowledge is knowledge when it's memorized. Right. So there are 5 knowledges of Iqtahawlat, and these are the fruits of Iqtahawlat, right? And we're going to go through all 5 of them. She didn't mention all 5, right? But she mentioned the first one, and the first one is nawaqid wa naqa'id wa mudilat al-fitan, right? And then there is a siyana, I minha, right? So there is a protection or the himaya, I minha, right? So nawaqid, right, abolishes, wa naqa'id, right, diminishes, right? So things that abolish or diminish matters of this religion, right? And mudillatul fitan, right, fitna or tribulations that causes for people to go astray. Right? So specific fitna, right? Specific tribulations that causes for people to go astray, right? And then you have Sayyidina Muhammad, and then you have the himaya, right? The himaya or the protection, right, from it. And this is the first knowledge of the 5 knowledges of fiqh tahawul. Is the first knowledge, and this will cause us. She just mentioned it will cause us to speak specifically, about the 2 rukun of fiqh tahawul, which is the first one. It is khalal, right? في قرار العلم والاقتصاد. It is a deficiency, right, in the system of knowledge and belief, and you will see what has happened in the zaman that has caused for deficiencies and fasad and corruption, right, in the system of knowledge and belief, right, and also the khalal, right? So this nawaqi wa naqa'id, that is, it abolishes and diminishes, they will begin to destroy, right, that system of knowledge and belief, and they will destroy the system of government and also of economy. Okay, now I'm going to play her next voice note. Okay, that was the first voice note. This is the second voice note. So this knowledge, right, is a summary, of nawaqid and naqa'id, right? And so this first knowledge that we're going to take is a mulakhas. Mulakhas meaning a summary, because this entire first knowledge is a full study in itself. So what we're presenting here is just a summary, right? So in my university, it is a full module. When I studied my degree, this first knowledge is a full module that we take over a semester or 2 semesters, right? Studying it, right? So so just follow follow the classes, inshallah. I hope today I'm taking it slow so you all can catch up. Okay, can catch up on this knowledge. So the knowledge of nawaqid or naqa'id, the abolishes and the diminishes, wa mudilat al-fitan, right? And the misguiding tribulations, wa asbabul wiqaya minha, right? And the means of protection from them. No. Right, no. So Habib Abu Bakr, he mentioned the nawaqid, it is from naqd yanqudu, right? And so it means to uproot something from its roots. It means to remove some the word nawaqid. So the first we're going to take is nawaqid. And so nawaqid means abolishes. So in the definition, it means to uproot something from its original, position, to remove it completely. That's the first thing. And nawaqid, right. So to remove something, right, from its roots, right. So what we want here is to understand, right, how do we understand this terminology, right, in tahawulat. Now, so in the answer of tahawulat, it is no. So it is the knowledge of every single thing. I'm gonna go through the definition clearly, okay? It is so the word nawaqid, right? It is a name for every single thing that destroys the aura, or you see the strands of the thawabit. The thawabit would be Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. So any matter that attacks or destroys, right, from the strands of Islam, Iman, and Ihsan, means the aura of Islam. This from a hadith of Rasulullah that the strands of Islam, or you see that the aura of Islam, right, it will be removed, aura of the aura. Uratan. That means the strands will be removed one by one. And every time one of them is removed, right, it will not come back, and the people will hold on to the next one. Right, mashallah. Mm. Right. And so one of the ways in this is done is when people argue, and they fight with regards to matters of the thawabit, and this will abolish matters in the thawabit. They will abolish matters in Islam is ihsan and in iman. Now with his argumentation and fighting and having a lot of disputation, what will happen? What will happen when people do this? It will cause for the demolishing, right, of what is firm in Islam. So in the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, right, that the thawabit of Islam, that means what is firm in Islam, Islam, Iman, and Ihsan, right, it will be, abolished, strand by strand. So strands of Islam will be abolished strand by strand, right? So and every one is abolished, then people will rush, right, to grab the next one. Right? And so I was mentioning that one of the ways this is done is when people have difference of opinion and they fight over it, and they fight over the difference of opinion, and this will cause for an eventual abolishment, of what is firm in Islam. Mm. And so in the hadith, that every time one of these strands of Islam is cut or abolished, right, human beings the Muslims will grab onto the next one, and the next one, and next one, until there are no more. So mm, right, so this happens during this, and this basically speaks about all of the means of fitna and of tribulation. Right, and so and in the hadith, Rasulullah said that the first matter in Islam that will be completely abolished is a matter of the Islamic government, right? And that has already happened, right? The Islamic government in our zaman is completely abolished, right? It will be completely abolished. So the first thing Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, they'll be completely abolished about the strands of Islam, of what is firm in Islam, right, is government. Islamic government. So the caliphate system is completely abolished. And he says, Allah in the hadith, that the last thing to be abolished is salah, right? It is prayer. right? And that you can see right now around us that is happening. The prayer is being abolished, right? Pretty much around the world, right? Of the number of people who actually pray. Mm, right. So Allah. And so this prayer, which is basically the sign of our religion. Right? There will come a day whereby majority of the believers are not praying. Or majority of human beings are not praying. Mm. Right. And so you think so in understanding this, yeah, you see, so this abolishments, right? They happen phase after phase after phase. So it doesn't happen. It could happen in one go, right? For nawaqid, right? Or it could happen gradually for naqaid, right? So the abolishments of things in Islam, right? So between things that are and many things in between, will be abolished. So prayer itself, it is of the it is of the most established of Islam, the prayer. There will come a day whereby prayer is completely abolished. So now, if you look at our situation right now, you look at so you look at our society. How are the people studying Islam? Right? And has Islam been is Islam being abolished bit by bit? As you observe society, it is, right. It is being abolished bit by bit, in society. Mm. And so, from the abolishment of governments to the abolishment of prayer, many methods will be abolished in Islam, just by the fitna that's going on in the zaman. Then nawaqid, so naqa'id means to remove something from its asas, from its foundation. And nawaqid or naqa'id, right? It is to remove it bit by bit. Mm. Um, right. So it's um, um, right. So how are these methods in knowledge and belief abolished? And how are these methods in government and economy? How are these methods in economy also abolished, right? So that there will be bit by bit. You said diminishes. As in nawaqid diminishes, right? Diminishes, right? That will bit by bit remove a person's religion, right? And this will be part of our study in fiqh tahawalat. Mm. And so it will be phase after phase. And this will happen phase by phase until the prayer is completely removed. So with regards to disputation, fighting, fitna, distraction, so many things will happen that will bring people away, right, from the foundation of Islam. So all of us today, and we look at our situation right now. Look at where the Muslims are going right now. You look at the Muslims right now. Right. So, is there any Islamic government right now? No. Is there any government following the Sharia? No, right now. Mm, no. And the Rasulullah SAW has mentioned in a hadith that when two Muslims come together with their swords, and one kills the other, they are both in the fire. That was what was said by Rasulullah. So how has it been in the Zaman that people have believed that they can, fight their own Muslim brothers, right? Right now, if you like, in ISIS or whatsoever, like how is it that Muslims can think that they can kill other Muslims so easily? And it has been going on since the time of the Sahaba, of Muslims killing the Sahaba, killing other Muslims, when some has forbidden such things from happening. Mm, mm. Now, right. So nawaqid and naqa'id, as a naqa'id is what goes against matters that are firm, right? So these are fitna, right? Fitna that goes directly against yu'arid, it goes against what is firm, right? So it goes against aqidah, it goes against your sharia, so things that is within the Muslims themselves, right? So for example, mm, so in the madhab Imam Shafi'i, for example, we do qunut in the Salat Subuh, right? It is in our second rakat. we will do in Salatul Subuh, right? So it's somebody from a different madhab, and then they see the people of the Shafi'i madhab doing certain kunut, right? And then they incur it, and then they go against it. They say that, oh, there's no such thing as doing dua kunut in the second rakat. No such thing as doing that. So something that is a difference of opinion between the scholars, it becomes a point of dispute, and that's the problem. That is the problem. People who see other people having practices, and it is established in Islam, right? But they make these differences of opinion into points of dispute and fighting and contention. Now, so this will be fighting between Muslims on within the Muslim Ummah, and cause for fractions and cause for disunity. Now, and they will bring from the Quran and the Sunnah, and they will break about the Muslims. So what this will do is that it will diminish the principles of Islam, or what is firm in Islam, bit by bit. Nah. Right. And so the one who is causing all of these things, of course, is Iblis, right, and Dajjal, right, and those who work for them. Right, they're the ones who are kindling the fire of disputation, right, between Muslims, to cause for an eventual, destruction, right, of what is firm in Islam. Nah. Mm. Right. So there are now, and then now we're going into fitna. Or what is fitna? So fitna, there are two types of fitna. The first type of fitna is fitna that is general. Fitna basically like a tribulation, a trial that happens to people in their lives, right? And this could be positive, could be negative, right? So the one who's going through a tribulation, right? They could get rewarded for it. Uh, and this is like general fitna. But here in Fiqh Hawla, we are studying specifically what is called mudillatul fitan. And this is specific fitna that will cause for human beings to leave the Sharia, to leave Islam altogether. So you see what is tribulation. So generally, tribulation could mean positive things, could be negative things. It could bring a person to Islam, or it could bring them away from Islam. So what brings a person? So basically, with regards to general tribulations like hunger and poverty and death and calamity, like, can bring someone closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? In that they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they get closer, they turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, so a fitna that is mudillatul fitan, and so the fitna that will bring people astray, a specific fitna that calls for people to leave the religion. Right, so for example, people, the fitna of the hypocrites. So the hypocrites who spread, of killing other believers, for example, and saying that to kill this particular Muslim, it is permissible, and so on. But they did, and they failed to see the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he said that if two Muslims come together with their swords and one kills the other, then they are both in the hellfire. Right, so there is a fitna. It's a fitna when people call for the killing of other believers or other Muslims. Now, right, so who is doing all of this? Right, doing all this fitnatul mudilla, or this misleading fitna? Who is causing all of this? Right, it is, um, of course, behind it is Dajjal and Shaitan and the disbelievers, of course, right? The enemies of Islam, they're behind all of this, and they are basically playing with the Muslims and kindling fires of hatred amongst the Muslims. Now, and so fitan, we see that the evil of Shaitan and Dajjal. And so now when you ask about the question, like, when did this misleading tribulations appear, right? When did this misleading tribulations begin? Right, so now we will answer that question. Right, so so when it begin, right, right, so we know the first thing is that, were there misleading fitna in the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu, in the time of Rasulullah, in the time of Sayyidina Umar, and Rasulullah Sallallahu was always pointing Sayyidina Umar. So Rasulullah Sallallahu in his zaman, he actually pointed Sayyidina Umar and said that for as long as this person is amongst you, this one, Sayyidina Umar, he's amongst you, right? Then there will not be any, of this sort of fitan, this sort of, misleading fitan. Right. So Sayyidina Umar, he is the door that stops the misleading or misguiding fitna. So what with the assassination of Sayyidina Umar, and the first fitna that happened between the Muslims was the fitna that happened by Sayyidina Osman radiallahu anhu. And then we said to the assassination of Sayyidina Osman himself. Right, so you have nawaqid and you have naqa'id. Right, so so uh, now, right, so we have the diminishes and the abolishes, of what is firm in our religion. This happened in the history of Islam, especially, and so the abolishment of Islamic government happened with the end of the Ottoman Empire. Right, so it was removed by the end of, I think, World War One, World War Two. Right, the Ottoman Empire was reduced or removed, right, or destroyed in a sense. Mm. Um, and so we mentioned the Khilafah of Islam, right, in regards to hukum, right, the meaning of hukum, right, that so the Khilafah of Islam, mm, yes, yeah. Mm, mm. Okay, so she's going through the different stages after the bringing down of the Caliphate of Islam, and then you have a different stages, of colonialism, and then of industrialization, and then of conquest, and then of the breaking apart of Islamic states into smaller states. As all of this all fall under fitna that is misleading, misleading fitna. Right, and then so for example, a woman, right, that when she, you know so when women follow for example, the feminist movement, when they follow the feminist movement and they want to have like all this freedom, and they don't want to follow any laws of Islam, and they want to break free of conformity, to laws that they protect them. And it's all under mudillatul fitan. They're under misleading tribulations. Um, mm, mm. Now, as we speak about fitna or tribulations that happen in the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whereby Rasulullah said that it will come towards the end of time, right? That the one who is the one that who is truthful will be denied, and means he will not be believed in, and the one who is a liar, right, will be the one who is believed in. There is a form of fitna that is misleading. And so the one who is truthful will not be believed in, and the one who is a liar will be believed in, right? And it will leave a person who has sound intellect to be confused, right, in this end of times. And that is called also mudillatul fitan, and there is a fitna that will lead astray. Naam. Naam. Uh, naam. Naam. Um, and the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, and that the one who is trustworthy will be accused of betraying, and the one who is betraying will be trusted. The one who is treacherous, the one who is trustworthy will be said to be treacherous, and the one who is treacherous will be said to be trustworthy. It's all in the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and these are all types of mudillatul fitan. They're all types of misleading tribulations. Right. Right. So, and part of the hadith also, right, is that a person will come forward and they want to bear witness when they are not called to bear witness. And many people who are doing that, they will come forward and they will say, no, I bear witness. I am the one who saw, and they didn't see and didn't witness. But they will come forward and they want to give their witness, and they didn't witness, and they were not even called to witness. It is of the fitness of the end of times. Yeah. Mm. Right. And they will take a vow from by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will not told to take a vow, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right. So they will take a vow, and they're not told to take a vow. So all of these things is for them, because they are all liars. They're liars, and they want to be and they want to spread their lies. So that's why so Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the most, like, so this is a longer hadith, and it's how is going through, right? So the end of times there'll be people who will swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, and they're not told to swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, and they want to bear witness, and they're not told to bear witness, and they're only doing all of these things because they want themselves to be believed in, and they are liars, right? They're actually liars. So the spread of liars in society, and the believing of liars society. And some say that the happiest people in the Zaman is Luqa bin Luqa, right? Meaning the most lowly, being the most lowly, and the most lowly human being, the son of the most lowly human being, and they do not believe in Allah and the hereafter. Mm. Mm. So this is Luka. Luka is somebody who is corrupted, does not follow the Sharia, does not care about halal and haram, right? So they are as alunas for dunya. They are the most blissful of people in the dunya, in the middle of the dunya, right? So these are the mentions of these are the words of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right, about in the Sharia in the Ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So now we've understood what is naqa'id, we understood what is naqa'id, and then what is mudilla fitan, and what is the misleading tribulations, right? And so now we come to the section of asbabul wiqaya minha, right? How do we protect ourselves, right, from these abolishes and diminishes and tribulations that are misguiding or misleading. So now the protection, okay. Mm. Right. So now we have, of course, the beginning of the 10 ayat, the 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, right? The beginning of Surah Al-Kahf. Now, uh, and then to study this knowledge of Iqtihawala itself, right? What are the positive things, in the end of times, what are negatives in the end of time, what can we follow now, and what should we stay away from, right? So studying Iqtihawala itself is a protection itself, right? To read the first 10 of Surah Kahfi, the last of Surah Kahfi as protection. Mm. Right? And then to stay away from argumentation and to stay away from dispute, to stay away from all these fractions, right, that has happened in the ummah. Now, mm, mm. And there are also some said, in order to pay attention to the hadith of Rasulullah about the end of times, where some said that for towards the end of time, right, to take the pen, right, is more is to leave the sword and take the pen, or to break the sword to take the pen, right? So to leave fighting, right? Don't go into fighting, don't go into bloodshed. Mm. And it's the end of times. And then also of the protection of the end of times, is for every person to really pay attention to those who are closest to them, their children, their family, their siblings, their parents, and so on and so forth. So don't be like someone who's like so far from them, someone who doesn't understand what's going on. No, to protect your family members in this way, to strive to protect your family members in this way, to keep them close and to influence them, inshallah. Now, Mm. And there's also the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, about secluding yourself, right, from society. And there are those who will do that. There will come a time, that will happen, and that seclusion is the best. Those who have, those who have, those who have, those who have sheep, right, for them to go with the sheep to the mountains, and then there will come a time whereby to stay in the home is better than to leave the home. Mm, mm. Right? And then you see that now, even in communication technology, is of the methods of our zaman. So someone could even enter into disbelief or atheism, right, through this method, through this means, in fact. Mm, right. Mm. Right. Subhanallah. So anyway, to stay away from the groups, especially when they go around saying to other people that they are kafir, they are mushrik, right? Because to call someone else kafir or mushrik, right, is to fall into the hadith that one of you is a kafir or one of you is a mushrik. So it's not for us, for a believer, right, to call other people disbelievers. So all types of fitna, all types of fitna. So of course, so then comes that to protect our family and our loved ones, I gently to try and speak to them and talk to them, and have them understand. Inshallah. So when you study this knowledge more and more, you know what's going on in our work, in our current our current situation. May Allah subhanahu I mean, and also to understand, right, what is going on in our waqi', meaning that what is happening around us, right, so that we can see where are the nawaqid and naqaid, where are the abolishes and where are the diminishes, right, of what is firm in our religion, and where also the fitna that these people are astray, right? So when we understand all of these things, then inshallah there is protection, right? All of this basically this whole lesson is a mulakhas, right? It is basically a summary, right? And this is a full study, right? So you're wondering, when are we going to learn all of these things? It's actually a full study, and it's a full, like you say, it's a full module to study. So this entire course that we're doing right now, right, it is Allahumma Sayyidina Muhammad, it is just an overview of what is fiqh tahawulat, so that people will start to study fiqh tahawulat seriously, as it is an important it's an important form of knowledge, inshallah. Okay. Okay, that it was her recording. Inshallah, we have finished it. I think I can take questions for me, inshallah. I can take questions if you want me to take questions. Um, let me see. Are there any questions? No questions. Actually, should I open up the? You all have time. You all have time, right? I have time. Bismillah, Allah, my kitten. Okay. Let me just open up the Padlet. I think on the Padlet there were questions. Now, the one, right? On the Padlet there were Allah. Sorry, I don't know why it's jumping all over. On the Padlet there were questions. I placed a section on fiqh tahawulat. Okay, so I can take those questions now. If there are no questions right now that that anyone's asking. So on the Padlet, let me share, okay? Allah. Okay, let me share. Okay. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, there are questions here. Let me see. I'm still in interpretation, right? Yeah, just give me there because you're recording anyway. Just give me there. Okay, there's a question here. This is actually a very important question. I wanted to respond to it, right? So she asked here, is it okay for Muslims to practice mindfulness through meditation, as is the practice of the Westerners today, as they claim that it is a good way to improve mental health, reduce anxiety and depression? Does it clash with Islamic teachings if the guided meditation does not have any components, right? And someone asked here also about yoga. Okay, this I have heard the answer specifically from Ustazah Anisa Mashur. Anisa Mashur is my teacher, and she is the niece of Hayy Abu Bakr al-Adani, right? And she speaks strongly against this, right? So basically, what the thing about it is that these people who have meditation, right, as a way, as a method of removing anxiety, of removing depression, of mental health, right? They don't have dhikr. That is why a lot of these people, they don't have dhikr. They don't have what we already have, which is superior to what they have, composed, or what they have invented. So what they have invented is inferior. You get me? It is inferior, right, to what we have, right? So understand that what they have is inferior to what we already have. We have dhikr, right? So why are you taking methods, right, methods of meditation when you already have dhikr? The thing about it is that if you sit down alone by yourself on the sajada, you have prayed 2 rak'ahs. So even if you can't pray, just sit down and cover your aura, face the qibla, and just go, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, slowly, right? Slowly feel every single word. Don't rush through your dhikr. This has every positive effect that any form of meditation can bring to you, and even a billion times more. I will tell you that, right? Because you are bringing, you are addressing the problem in regards to this emotional and mental health, which is spiritual health. Right? The problem is actually rooted in spiritual health, and because a majority of us in this modern world, we are not doing deep dhikr enough. We are not. So yoga is, so Anisa, she warn us against yoga. She warn us against yoga. Yoga is one of the form. Even if you don't believe in what they are saying, right? It is a form of shirk. There is a form of shirk in there. And so Muslims, we are given what is greater, what is higher, what is better, right? As Allah says in the Quran, would you replace what is better, what is lower? Why? And why do you do that? Why do you replace what is better that you already have to what is lower, to what these people they are trying to figure out? So they're trying to get to dhikr without doing dhikr, right? So they invent all these ways of meditation, but in Islam we already have it. We already have it, but we're not doing it. That's our problem. We're not doing it. We're not going out into nature. We're not reciting Quran, at top of our voices. Feel the Quran, feel it resonate within yourself, right? Ponder over the meanings of the Quran, right? We're not doing La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Trust me, if you do this every single day, deeply, don't rush through it, but you do it deeply. You sit down, face the Qibla, right? And you do it deeply, this will give you a billion times more benefit than any meditation program out there. And because why? You are focused on the one who cure you. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no doubt, I have no doubt, right? That you just do this a little bit, just do deeply, give yourself 10 minutes, 20 minutes. How long do people take doing meditation? Half an hour, 1 hour, I don't know. Right? Or yoga. How long do people do people take doing yoga? I don't know, 1 hour or so on. That amount of time, use it for your religion. So you can do stretches in between, yes, right? But don't follow their poses, right? But do what is, in this religion, which is basically sujood, right? You can stand, ruku, sujood, and you can stay there. And these positions are superior, okay? Superior to the positions that are found in yoga. Understand that, right? We are believers, so we have our yaqeen in our belief. Our yaqeen must be in Islam, right? Islam is complete, right? So you don't have to take methods of other, disbelievers, and they are not even believers in God, right? Why? How would they? What we know about these kind of solutions when these problems lie in the spirit, they lie in the soul, right? These are issues in the soul. They think these are mental issues. No, they are spiritual issues. And if you work on your spirit, you work on your soul, you will find solution. The thing about it is that we're not giving time. We're not giving time to dhikr. We don't sit there off the light or wake up early in the morning, right? Before, early in the morning when no one's awake, in your tahajjud time, sit down, be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Just go slowly saying the statements, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Go slowly in this, right? You do it slowly, you feel the vibrations, it will do for you way more, right, than any form of meditation that can be found out there. Right? So the answer is no. The answer is no. Right? It is not okay. Right? Yoga is also not okay, by the way. Yoga is not okay. The thing about Muslims is that they enter into matters without checking the ruling first. Right? It's also not okay. Let me just see the chat here, the questions here in the chat. Now, right. Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. I think Baina, are you listening to me or are you listening to listening to me, right, Baina? Yeah, I'm sure she is. Let me see. There's a fitna. Let's see, the question is in Malay. There is a fitna within the Jama'ah of Islam. Definitely. Right. So the question here, by Nur Amanina, her question is that is there fitna within amongst the Muslims that they hate each other, that they backbite each other? That is true. That is true. Right. And basically stay away from anyone who is manifesting sin on their tongues. Frankly. Right. Those people who are backbiting, those people who are slandering, those people who are causing hatred to brew between Muslims and within the Muslims, stay away from them. I would say even if they're of your same, your same group or your same tariqah or your same, the tariqah is pure, yes, the method is pure, but these people, they are not, right? And I would say stay away from them because they are poison. I stay away from them. Right. So to read the first 10 last of Surah Kahfi, anytime that they do not specify when you should read it. So usually we read it before we sleep. But it's up to you. If you want to read in the morning, you can. Whenever you remember, you to read the first and last of Surah Kahfi, and that is good for you. Tamam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. right? Ya Allah, the Malay questions, I will struggle with the Malay questions. Um, kita tahu gimana dijaga, bagaimana jika kita sebagai wanita, seorang pengajar, boleh mengajar di sebuah lembaga. Apa is lembaga? Lembaga yang murid-murid bercampur school sebab di zaman sekarang lebih banyak sekolah umum pun di pesantren. Beberapa saja yang tersendiri untuk santri putra dan putri. Okay, I think I get the question. The question is, can we teach in co-ed schools? In co-ed schools, meaning male and female. There is fitna there. Okay, I will not deny there is fitna there. Right? In fact, working in a place whereby you have to work closely with another male, there is fitna there. Right? So I know it's difficult in our zaman, right, to avoid such situations, right, and to avoid this, mixing with men. So if you have to work in such situations, then maintain the adab of Islam. Right? Maintain the adab of Islam. Don't be alone with these boys and girls. Don't be alone. Don't be alone with the boys, right? Even the men amongst the teachers, right? Maintain the adab and the principles of Islam, right? Do not transgress, right? Don't go out alone together, or don't have lunch together, or don't, all of these things. You cover your aura properly, right? So as long as you maintain the adab of Islam, right? That is, if you're placed in such a situation, that is best. Right, but of course, the more you stay away from mixing with the other gender, that is better. Right, so you can go to school, you can teach, you can do your work as a teacher, and then don't have interactions with the boys or the men very much. You try your best to do that, unless it is within the work context. I try our best to do that. Now, so many Malay questions. Okay. Okay. In regards to the message that was shared about recording during fitna, was there a message that was shared? Where was the message? I didn't see the message. Recording during the fitna coming times, it was mentioned that you should learn farming, manufacturing. You could give us pointers which are best of the skills to learn, and best which may be the most needed. Any, I didn't see the message first and foremost. I don't know what message you're talking about. Secondly, if you ask about farming or manufacturing, I'll say farming, right? Because the foods of today, they are very, I mean, it's all like, GM and all, like a lot of a lot of this destructions to the foods today. They're not healthy, right? So I would say that if you can learn to grow your own foods, and it's not hard. It's actually not hard, right? But I've not done it as well myself, so I can't even speak for it. But I do have an intention, right, to learn to grow my own foods, and then just start to eat from your own garden. You can make a small garden, even in an apartment. You can make your own small garden, right? It's not impermissible, right? I mean, it's not impossible. Of course, it's permissible. It's not impossible. Yeah. Okay, that's I would say, with social media being a common platform for marketing, how can we better equip ourselves to reshape the sharings and which senses are truly authentic? Okay, this question, with the world of influencers, right? Isn't it? The world of influencers and what you're saying. So common platform of marketing. I know people are doing that, and really, you need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. So every single day after your prayers, to recite, Allahumma arina al-haqqa al-haqqa warzuqna ittiba'a wa arina al-batila al-batila warzuqna ijtinaba. Every day you need to ask, to teach your children this dua, and this dua is a very essential dua, right? To say after every single salat, Allahumma arina al-haqqa al-haqqa, oh Allah, show us truth as truth. Warzuqna ittiba'a, right? And um Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. I'm still on interpretation, right? No, okay. Just checking. Okay. Tamam. Right. So I hope that it's clear. Hope that it's clear, okay? So you make this dua, because really, really, you're in a zaman whereby it's very confusing. We're in a zaman that is very, very confusing, right? So you don't know that who is authentic, who is sincere, who is, proper, who is, this dunyawi worldly. You can't tell, and you can't tell the hearts of people, right? So read that dua every single prayer, right? And inshallah, Allah will place in your heart like who to follow, who to stay away from, right? Allah will put it in your heart. These du'as are very important. The first 10, last 10 Surah Kafi is also a way by which you protect yourself, and Allah will give you a sense. If you're wondering, how come reading Surah Kafi will protect me from Dajjal? Surah Kafi, first and foremost, is the hadith of Rasulullah. But Surah Kafi, by Allah's power, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place a sense in you that you will have a gut feeling against things that is Dajjalic. Like you will feel it. You feel this. I think that this feels so wrong. This feels. I don't want to follow this person anymore. No, I don't want to follow this kind of social media anymore. Allah will give you ilham. Right towards the end of times, one of the biggest one of the biggest ways of guidance is ilham. Ilham meaning inspiration. You will get inspiration, right, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to get inspiration, and that's why ilm al-ladunni, right, knowledge from Allah himself. And in fact, Hawla has a lot of ilm ladunni from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to be able to be a recipient of such knowledge, right, that you have to Allahumma sayyidina Muhammad, that you have to keep yourselves pure as you can. And so keep to worship, stay away from sins, right? With regards to the media, keep to what is pure and halal. Right? Leave all of this, nonsense, this rubbish, of wasting time and watching movies and watching sitcoms and watching comedies, and it's scrolling mindlessly. You need to start to get more and more to try and purify your lives more and more, right? And this will make you someone who is able to receive knowledge directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You get me? Right? So the dua that I just taught, right? Allahumma arinal haqqa al-haqqa, that dua, and then the 10 verses before and the first 10 last of Surah Kahfi, these are things that will place in your heart a sense of what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so understand that, inshallah. Right, so dhikr that I recommend that you use instead of yoga, any dhikr, I literally, any dhikr is better than yoga. Any. You can go, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You can do that. I love doing that. I think that is way, I can't imagine something non-religious being more healing than singing like Salat Nariya, right? I can't imagine anything that is non-religious being more healing than just going astaghfirullah, right? Astaghfirullah. Just in doing that, subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar, from the depths of your breath. I mean, from the depths of your lungs, bring out that dhikr. From the depths of your heart, bring it out, right? And honestly, I tell you, you do it for 5 minutes, it is way more effective than years of yoga. Right? I have no doubt. This is what I do with my life, right? And alhamdulillah, and I'm a happy person. Honestly, like really, we are not gaining from our dhikr because we're not giving it its qima, we're not giving it its value. And dhikr is the greatest thing, and our Prophet has informed us the greatest thing is dhikr. Like how I don't understand how can Muslims replace dhikr with something from the non-Muslims? How can you do that? It's like replacing, the Jannah with Nar. It's like doing that, So I hope you all, pay attention to this. Any dhikr, I would say get a favorite salawat, Salawat, is everything. Okay, salawat is everything. Really. Okay, in Hadramaut Rasul, we say the most needed, there will be a benefit. I mean, not just Hadramaut, but anywhere in the world. I would say, farming. In a sense, make your own food, right? Be sustainable in your own food because food right now is full of toxins, right? There's a lot more debate on Aqidah and Madhab on the internet. Ya Allah. Yeah, it's so annoying, Ya Allah. It's really spreading into real life. People making this takfir, kafir, whatsoever for Shafi madhab, whatever, the Ash'ari aqidah and so on. Right? Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Like really, you need to teach your children from a very young age. a firmness in the religion. I teach them the madhabs, teach them the Ash'ari Aqidah, and then teach them stay away from anyone who goes around, making everybody else kafir. Okay, stay away from these people. And this is a big red flag. They are waving their own red flag, right? By calling people kafir, okay? Right. So subhanallah. Right. So with regards to stretches, you can just do normal stretches, like exercise stretches. Normal stretches. You don't have to do specifically yoga stretches, right? But normal stretches, like breathing exercises, but do them with dhikr, right? Do them with dhikr, do them with the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tamam. Right? Do them with, like I would say like really, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. And then you go, Ya Allah, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahimu, Ya Maliku, Ya Qudusu, Ya Salamu, Ya Mu'minu, Ya Muhaiminu, Ya Azizu. You go in that way. You go in that way. Right. It does a lot more for you. And there are many, physical stretches that you can do. I myself do stretches every day. There are apps you can do, everyday stretches just to like breathing exercises. Doesn't have to be yoga, right? But just normal, arm stretches, back stretches, thigh stretches. You can find them, easily. Then it doesn't have to be yoga, right? And if it's yoga, then just be very careful because there are certain yoga movements. So Anisa warns us against this, right? There are certain yoga poses that destroys the soul. It actually destroys the ruh. There are certain yoga poses that destroys the soul. That is why I'm warning against it. Right? So I'm saying that if you can do other forms of stretches that you can be prescribed, right? Other forms, then that is better. Because yoga is based on a disbelief in God. Right? If I'm not wrong, is based on a disbelief in God. Right? So there are poses that actually harm the soul. It harms the soul, right? So Allahu Alam, I've never done yoga in my life. I'm quite happy I've never done yoga in my life. Right? But I've done a lot of stretches. I used to be in sport when I was in school. So in school we learn a lot of stretches from school, right? In your physical education and so on. Do those, whatever you have learned in school. I would do those, right? Like whatever, of stretches. you know. Should we live working as a government servant? Yani, as long as you keep to your religion and you keep firm, as you mentioned, as we mentioned that, as we mentioned, that you in earlier this morning, not yesterday morning, right, that you preserve what's inside of you, right? You preserve what's inside of you, right? In your belief, in your iman, you can be anywhere in this dunya, and you can do well, right, as a believer. You get me? Okay. Um, Someone going through mental illness but get offended when advice is given to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ibadah, is like dhikr to help yourself. I actually want to write a post on this, I actually want to write a post on this that, with regards to weak iman, that everybody suffers from weak iman. It's not an insult. It's not an insult when someone says you're weak iman. Literally everyone suffers from weekend. And I don't know a single person around me who can tell me, Ana mu'min haqqa, I mean, like how the Sahaba used to do. Like Sayyidina, I think Sayyidina Hanzala, when Rasul asked him, Ya Hanzala, how do you wake up today? And he says, Asbahtu ya Rasulullah mu'minin haqqa, right? A mu'min haqqa. Ya Rasulullah, I woke up today as a true believer. Oh, how many of you can do that? How many of us can do that? If we woke up today as true believers, we wouldn't be doing what we did today, of a lot of things that we did today, right? You're true believers and you woke up this morning. I mean, honestly, I actually want to do a post on this, on really understanding that it is not something like, it is not something to be offended by when someone says to you, you need to buck up your iman. You need to work on your iman. We all do. We all do. We all suffer from weak iman, all of us. That's why we waste our time. That's why we're in sin. That's why we watch nonsense, right? That's why we go into the gossip and backbiting. If our iman was complete, we would not be doing any of these things. All of us. Right, so I actually want to do a post on this on my Facebook. I've not done it for so long. But I want to do a post on this, right? With regards to really the signs of weak iman. And the signs of weak iman happens in many ways. It manifests in many ways. It's not to run away from, right, or to feel offended by, but to understand that yes, it is that I am lacking in my worship. I am lacking in my iman. I am lacking. Can we just embrace that in our zaman? Embrace that we are lacking. Can we embrace in the sense of acknowledge, not be happy about it now, right? But acknowledge that you are lacking, and then work on it, right? Work on it. Okay. So today's class is on the Sughra with a lot of messages coming up. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, I'll go check the message later on. I didn't see the message. Um Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. All of the rest of the questions, right? I have to go off actually. So all the rest of the questions, you all just put it up on the Padlet. Inshallah, I will get to them. So many questions, mashallah. Now, okay. So I will, inshallah. You can do Sawanariya any day. You can do it on Friday, you can do it on Friday, you can do it any day, you can do it any day. Right? So Allahu Alam. Um, with regards to other sports, I've not said. I mean, if it's for health, for health. Yeah, and if there's no spiritual meaning behind it, yeah, right. So okay. Anyway, so you all can my Facebook page and my Instagram page should be my name. It's just my name. It's just my name. It's just me. You can tell it's me. Now. Okay, tamam خلاص. I will stop there for today, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. I hope today's session was beneficial and it made things clearer, inshallah. We have denied access to notes because I fear the mistakes there. Right? So I fear my own translation. I fear that in my rush to translate that there are things that are inaccurate, right? So I have requested for all of my students to remove the notes. So it's from my request, right? So the access is denied from my own request and from my own fear that there could be mistakes in there. And also, it's message from my part, one thing, and then when my students type out the message, the notes, I don't check it, right? So there could be mistakes there as well, right? So I fear that as well, right? So I hope everyone just write your own notes, inshallah. There's khair in that. Okay. Barakallahu fikum. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر. Okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.